40 feet of muscle and momentum is running straight at you, faster than you've ever seen it move, and for one full second you genuinely believe you miscalculated everything. 5 days of watching, mapping, and building have come down to this single stretch of ground, and you're about to find out if any of it was enough. But first, let's go back to how you got here. Day 6. You test the bait, not yourself. You're smarter than that now. 5 days smarter than the person who woke up in the ferns, not knowing which way was north. You drag the carcass of a small scavenger you trapped 2 days earlier, one of the dog-sized, three-toed animals you'd been tracking near the water since day 2, to the game trail nearest the sinkhole. Timed for the hour it always returns to hunt the riverbank. You've learned its schedule the way you'd learn a commute. Midday at the river, dusk along the tree line. Full dark somewhere you've never followed it. From your ridge, you watch it take the bait. You watch it take the trail you built for it, funneled by walls of brush on either side toward the one patch of ground, soft enough to fail under its weight. Your heart is pounding so hard you can hear it over the sound of its footsteps. This is the moment 5 days of work either pays off or gets you killed. It doesn't fall today. It stops 8 feet short of the crust, tests the ground the way every animal here seems to instinctively know how to do, a slow shift of weight, side to side, reading the earth the way you'd read a warning sign, and turns away toward the river instead. You don't panic, though every part of you wants to. You force yourself to watch instead, and you notice something you almost missed. It stopped exactly 8 feet short every single time, which means it can sense instability at that distance, but not closer, and which means your crust simply isn't extended far enough into its approach path yet. You spend the night widening the trap's soft crust another 2 feet in the only direction it can approach from, working by touch in the dark because a torch would give away exactly what you're doing. You layer dried reeds and loose soil over the extended edge so it matches the surrounding ground perfectly, then step back 8 feet yourself and throw a stone onto the new section. It breaks through with the same soft, hollow crack as the rest. It's ready. You just don't know yet if it's ready in time. You spend what's left of the night going back over every observation from the last 6 days, because tomorrow leaves no room for a mistake you should have already corrected. You think about the favored leg, the 8-foot testing distance, the way it always approaches the riverbank from the same easterly angle no matter which direction it came from before. Predators this size don't improvise much once a pattern works for them, and that rigidity, the very thing that makes them so dangerous in a straight fight, is exactly what you've been exploiting for a week. You fall asleep sometime before dawn, still turning the plan over, still finding small ways to be more certain it will hold. Day 7. This is the day it either ends or it doesn't. You bring the last of the bait to the same trail at the same hour, and this time you don't watch from the ridge. You stand in open ground on the far side of the sinkhole, close enough to be seen, far enough to run. Every instinct from 6 days of survival is screaming at you to stay hidden, but hiding was never going to end this. Ending it means becoming the bait yourself, standing exactly where it needs you to stand. It sees you immediately. 7 days of learning your scent, your pattern, your fear, and today none of that matters, because today you're the one who chose the ground. Its head lowers, its stride lengthens. The riverbank shakes under a stride pattern you've watched and mapped every single day since day 2, and for the first time, that pattern is working entirely in your favor, because you know exactly where its next 4 steps are going to land before it takes them. It comes fast, faster than you've ever seen it move, and for one full second you genuinely believe you miscalculated everything. The width, the distance, the timing, all of it. You hold your ground half a second longer than every survival instinct in your body is telling you to, because half a second too early, and it simply adjusts its stride around the trap the way it did yesterday. Then, its front foot lands on the widened crust, and the ground you spent 2 days preparing simply isn't there anymore. 40 feet of muscle and momentum goes down hard, chest deep, unable to twist its rigid tail for balance the way it would on solid ground, unable to find purchase on crumbling walls of dirt collapsing on every side. You remember the favored leg from day 4, the slightly deeper print, the weaker turn. And it's that same leg that buckles first, driving it deeper into the pit, rather than letting it lever itself back out. It thrashes. It roars in a way that shakes birds out of the canopy half a mile off, a sound that reaches you not just through your ears, but through the ground itself. And then, slowly, it stops, wedged too tight to climb out, too heavy to be pulled free by anything short of another of its own kind. You don't approach. You don't need to. You just stand at the edge of the pit you built, breathing harder than you have in 7 straight days, and understand something you didn't know when you first woke up in the ferns. You were never going to outrun this animal, or outfight it, or outlast it in any contest it was built to win. You were only ever going to outthink it. One small, exhausted, carefully earned decision at a time for 7 days straight, until the only fight left was one you'd already won before it started. Somewhere above the canopy, the sky starts to look wrong again. Too pale, too flat, more like a ceiling than a sky. The humidity fades from your skin. The roar behind you grows distant, then distant enough to sound like it's coming from underwater. Your own bed is fading back into focus before you fully understand what's happening. The ferns dissolving into familiar sheets, the mud beneath your feet dissolving into carpet. You think, in that last, fading second, about everything it took to get here. The platform you built with raw palms on day 1, the hour of watching that taught you its whole hunting pattern on day 2, the mistake that nearly cost you everything on day 4, and the 2 full days spent widening a crust of dirt by inches until it became the only outcome this chase could ever have. None of it happened by luck. All of it happened because for 7 days straight, you refused to be the kind of prey that only reacts. You became the kind that plans. And the last thing you see, right before your eyes open in a room you recognize, is the Tyrannosaurus Rex still struggling in a pit of its own territory, caught by nothing more than 7 days of patience it never saw coming, in a world that was never built for you, that you survived anyway.